Sweet. Hectic. All right, cool. So starting the week in EU, that's the right day, isn't it? Yeah, Monday. Sweet. Positioning. We were at the more or less extreme of that bigger hourly leg. Obviously slowed heaps and sit inside that daily point. Had reacted obviously out of there, broken a couple of little lows there, more or less like 5 minute lows than anything. So coming into London, we were reacting out of this point here. Now, this demand did actually break that high, like just. So this point is technically demand to supply. Sorry, yeah, demand to supply. So looking to buy through it. Obviously, first high outside of Asia. Happy to be able to buy through that point. Expecting obviously that manipulation, or we can also look to sell off the take of it being a demand to supply. It's a medium inducement and first high outside of Asia. I don't really consider that a medium inducement. Like, yeah, it's the first high outside of Asia, but it's like, a little bit of subjectivity there is doesn't do any harm. Shit little point. Now, there was an entry on the two confirmation side of things coming into the session. So, or in London through this point, but given our medium inducements right here and we're valid to sell right there, it's just a bit iffy to be able to work with something like that. You just don't have the room, but you do have one inducement, and then you've got your second inducement there. Obviously, bringing in our sellers, breaking and retest and taking the retest, and it is valid to have that set by giving you break even fucking literally straight away. And that's a medium inducement, and it's somewhere that we would really want to be selling from, targeting the liquidity underneath. You're better off just waiting to better catch a sell there. So it's valid to look for a buy. Yeah, it is valid to buy through. But given we're that close to the medium inducement and we're having that entry way up here, if our entry was like, somewhere down here, like we took that area, and then presented a buy, way different story, way better. But just so close to that medium inducement, it's just a bit average. So valid to look, just a bit iffy. And obviously off the take of that medium inducement as well, valid to look for a sell, but there's just no entry. You've got your first break here, your break and retest. If we came up and induced that retest on this pullback and then got an entry inside of here, so you had 1, 2, that would be really clean. And that also works from the confirmation side of things as well. So you're sitting with both entry models, but obviously didn't get that. So no entry there or valid break even. Like, it is a valid break even. It's just one that's, more so avoidable from the mental strain. Sweet. And then this area, so the supply, this is one it's 50/50, like whether you want to look at selling out of there. We did have GU inducing the high at the same time, so the divergence was nice. The supply, it did take liquidity. It is coming out of a really good point. We did have a bit of a slow retracement post breaker structure. We did have a liquidity target. We had Asia loader target. We had London loader target. You've got good targets with it, but given the aggressiveness into this point and the context of the market leading up to it being quite bullish, it's just a bit iffy to take a sell out of there. Like, it's valid, and it'd be valid, if you had a setup in there. I just see that one as, because we're so aggressive into it. Like, if I'm looking to sell out of here, my break even really isn't until here. Like, I want to target the next 5 minute liquidity. And I'd really be looking to more or less have like that sort of area as really like your TP1 sort of area. So it's just too big of a gap, too aggressive into it. So yes, it's a valid area, but we don't really have a break-even target anywhere nearby, so we haven't got that stepping stone. So it's a valid area, but yeah, depends on your rules a little bit on how you want to view that spot. I thought that went back to its 1 minute thing then, I was going to flip it. Sweet. Right. So leading into the next day, we did induce that supply, really good inducement, obviously during Asia. From there, a little bit of manipulation and break through that low. So really good low to be able to break through. Got the supply that's obviously taken that point. Yes, it's the high that took Asia, but given the rest of the context, this makes more sense to be a breaker structure. Now looking to buy through the retest, obviously we would normally be okay to do that. But given that we took Asia Low, one that already makes it a bit iffy, we don't want to be buying off Asia Low and obviously going against that inducement. But also as well, you're looking for a buy just at the very, very top of a range. So it's just you're better off waiting to get the inducement of that, get our mitigation, and then look for a sell. We don't want to be buying in that sort of positioning. Obviously, if it's deeper down inside of the range, we're not just making a new high, different story, but given the positioning of that structurally, it just doesn't make sense to catch a buy through there. Yeah, this one's post-session sell. Like, when was the timing of this? Yes, it's an hour and a half post close. But you do have medium inducement, obviously retest of a 15-minute break, mitigation. Like it's a fucking really, really clean setup.
Yeah, so Matt, how did this one go, big fella?
Oh, it was clean as a man. But yeah, I
It's
just
tidy.
I took it in bed and like so I was just like absentmindedly put my stop just at the next higher, like and
Brutal.
paid for it. I think the market knew that's what I did, so took me out
Yeah.
and ran. And
Did
then
you take
when I
it
looked
sitting
back
in
at it, I was
bed?
like, yeah, yeah.
Fuck. Fuck.
Ouch.
Is it
No
in your
big mistake
rules
there.
to not take a trade when you're sitting in bed?
No,
No, I was
we
gonna
don't have a
say if
rule
it
around.
was and you went against it, that was the market going, this is why you have rules. Oh,
No,
no,
I
that's
don't have the
gold.
rule, but yeah, I might do now. Yeah, it was just like I felt like it was just an absent-minded mistake, and I was just like, oh,
Yeah.
damn it, bugger.
Oh, that's a crack up.
But yeah,
That's a
that would have
crack up.
been a clean grab if I'd managed to stay in that one. But anyway, didn't
Yeah,
happen.
that's it. It was clean though, clean read.
Mm,
Yeah, obviously that inducement mitigation, you've got a break even target here, being a supply to demand point. It's just fucking so clean. Yeah, obviously first inducement, smart money point. I hate to do this to you, bro. Smart money point, break up, second inducement. Obviously having it set really could either go off that point or off the break, either really. Both's fine. I want to get actually if you go just off the break. Yeah, we're still 1 to 3.4, but makes sense to run it off that point there, off the two leg. Yeah, so it's obviously where you've got your second inducement point, you're sitting inside of that leg. Like it could very well still come up and induce that and push down, which obviously is
is exactly what happened.
is what it ended up doing.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, fuck, that's brutal. Like, even if you had you stopped there, you would have been puckering a little bit at that point.
I might have been slipped out. I don't know if I'd had my stop at the correct inducement high.
What have you got?
What is it? Half a pip.
Half a pip
Mm,
on EU. If there's a broker difference, then like maybe, but if the broker was the same as I went, then you'd be sweet. You would have just been puckering, you just lose 6 months off your life from the
yeah,
stress.
yeah.
Um, yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah, that's it. That's it. But yeah, really, really clean. First inducement of that point. Second inducement, obviously the push up, sitting inside that leg, entering obviously after the two leg or the break. Anything you want to add to that, Brad?
Nah, it's clean as fuck.
So
What's your take on the timing? For me, I just think it's too out of timing for me to be super comfortable with it.
I
I
yeah,
was,
yeah,
I was definitely come. Oh, you go. Yeah.
I'll say first and then Dylan will say his piece, then Matt say yours. I would say, and I was explaining this to Dylan today, you can't be mad if you miss one out of timing, but if you're watching and you see a trade set up that fits medium inducement, momentum, daily cycle, coming from a major inducement, trend line, like you take it, but you can't be mad if you miss it. If that makes sense. So like,
That
don't be
okay,
mad if
that
you
makes
miss
yeah.
sense.
it, but if you watch it happen and you don't take it, why the fuck are you
Mm,
even watching? Like,
mm.
It's
No,
kind of like,
absolutely. Yeah, not mad missing because I didn't watch it, but there are
yes,
times
I didn't see this
that the
either. When
chart
Matt
is
sent it in, I was
on.
like, oh, that would have been
Yeah.
clean. I should have been watching, but I'm not mad I didn't take it, if that makes sense.
Cool, cool.
Yeah, I think it just depends on what your rules are and what you allow for yourself, eh? Like if you're going to allow yourself to take a certain criteria of setup out of timing, then you take it. But it's just what you allow for yourself. It's what you allow for yourself. There's no right or wrong way about it. Like we know that if we can get this set up within our timing window, that's the most high probability scenario. Utilize that session open volatility. So, that's best case scenario. But if you have a situation like Brad was saying, if you get like a medium inducement, good strong mitigation, you've got a big list of confluences that make it valid for you to trade out of timing. If you tick those boxes, then you trade. So
Mm.
yeah, especially as a setup like that as well, where it's so clean on the structure cycle, like where we're positioned higher time frame, where we're positioned on the 15-minute internally, externally. Yeah, it's really, really clean. So there's no right or wrong way to go about the timing in that sense, but it's just what you set for yourself as a rule. Like if you have for yourself a rule of I will only trade within these hours with a half an hour buffer, for example, then it's sweet. And you just trade within that. And that's just something that came out of your time. So that wasn't your trade. But
Mm.
if you do allow yourself to trade outside those hours and you didn't take it, well, then it's like, well, why did you miss it? Like, how did you miss it kind of thing. So just depends on what you allow for yourself.
Yeah,
Like I
cool.
had this trade in my pre-market analysis as well, like before the session even began. So I hadn't alerted that high because I was expecting a bit more of a push down from where we were. Um, so that's why I was able to I didn't capitalize on it, but I tried to, and I
Yeah.
was comfortable taking that trade because I'd already sort of had it pre-planned. I wasn't just like on the charts having a gander and yeah, there's some lower time frame, entry. I'll just take it randomly.
Yep.
That was a trade that I was happy to take because it was already something I was expecting, so
Mm,
No,
it
good.
made it
That's
easier.
that's a
helpful
good
Yeah,
because I
point.
often find the latter. It's on the background. I go, oh, I could justify that, and it never goes
yeah.
out
You,
well.
you get
So
curious. You're like,
it's
oh, what are the
yeah,
charts doing? Oh, what did
yeah,
they
yeah,
what
yeah,
did they end
yeah,
up doing? And you
yeah.
have a look and you're like, oh, you get like tempted in. But that was like an alert went off. Like I kind of knew where the area was and knew that it was valid before it even set up. So
Beautiful.
Wicked,
Thanks. Thank you.
wicked. Something
A
I
lot
wanted
of
to, you
timing
go, Brad.
aspect of things, you guys have to understand a lot of the timing aspect of things is a marketing scheme so you don't trade out of timing. Like you guys are slowly learning that the idea of a break of structure is just to sell you a course because a break of structure does not exist. Inducements run the market. So if your
Mm,
inducements come, timing is just a catalyst. It's just another confirmation for us on probability of entry. That's all it is.
yeah. Yes, the market will always move. Yeah, something I wanted to add to this as well before we move on past it is obviously you get your first inducement, second inducement here. We've got our third inducement here, but understanding that this inducement here is what essentially validated the setup. So making sure that you always cover the piece of structure that validated your entry. If you get an additional inducement like we had here with that little push there off that smart money point, then that's just an additional confirmation for the entry itself. It's not a criteria or not a confirmation that's going to go, okay, cool, I'm going to adjust how I'm going to set the actual entry for the trade. It's just an additional confirmation that we've got inside of it.
yeah,
Just
no,
something
perfect.
to
I would have
remember.
taken that trade even if that or third inducement wasn't there anyway. So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, that's why I needed to have my stop at the other one. But all good.
Yeah.
Move on.
We live and we learn. We
Melbourne.
live and we learn.
Oh,
Wicked. So this is where the market gets a bit iffy on this day. So you can view this EU's valid for buyers and buyers only, whereas GU was valid for sellers at the same time. But going over EU, obviously New York been bearish all day between that leg. Good inducement of a supply to demand, really fucking solid inducement. We've induced this point here, obviously being a medium inducement itself. So we've got one medium inducement, two medium inducements. We've mitigated an area that has taken liquidity, which is an internal supply to demand of a bigger portion of that supply to demand area. So really, really, really strong area. Only issue with this setup obviously is the targets that we had, just lack of targets and news coming out, which we all found out about. But in terms of the entry itself, it is really, really clean. So retest of that break, obviously utilizing that as a break-even point. We don't have much else inside of here, like it's targeting the mitigation of that supply, obviously that took that liquidity is really, really valid, but we don't have much between here and there to be able to help us get to that point, but really valid nonetheless to be able to take the setup.
That was my
So
only
you've got
trade of the week. This one.
this was your one, yeah, your only
Yeah,
trade.
my only trade of the week. Yeah.
Yeah,
Valid.
wicked.
Good shit.
So there's numerous ways you can go about getting into this, or two different ways. So you've got first setup, obviously mitigation of the supply to demand. Supply area retest. You've got your first inducement to the downside. Out of that point, we've got your first inducement down here, obviously of the retest. So the medium inducement. Mad. And you got your second inducement here. You were in down here as well, eh, Brad? That's where
Yeah,
you had
so I
your
entered, so I went for, and I'll explain this when we obviously get to GU anyway, but I entered on a divergence here, understanding that this was already proven as a smart money trap on GU. So I entered, it was like this.
Yeah.
I didn't wait for all this in here, which
Yeah,
is
you're
what you probably should
utilizing
wait for.
that area there.
Either or is fine.
Let's clean that, getting that right on timing, eh?
Yes.
It's very fucking tidy. So yeah, numerous ways you can go about it. Obviously, Brad's way that he got into it. The other way is waiting for this area. So you get your second inducement here with that little break to the downside there. You can then set it straight off the break, or if you were to trade more of a confirmation based approach, you've got break, retest. It might be a little bit easier if I go back here. So we've got break and retest there. You can also set it off the retest or obviously break the retest. Either. Around there is a good way to go about obviously just making sure you're in the trade. Do get the inducement of the retest, break even as soon as we push through that high. So that being retest of that 15-minute break. Don't want to be holding after that. Is that where you had your entry, Josh?
Yep, that exact one, and that be
Yeah,
exactly as
sick.
you see.
Yeah,
Yeah,
wicked.
spot on.
Wicked. Very clean. And then obviously news did its thing. Cool.
Fucking
Very
country
valid.
I did call out. Does anyone else have news?
Yeah.
Is it just me?
You
Yeah.
saved me about 600K in funding, just to let you know.
Really? Did you check
Yeah.
it before you? Oh, thank goodness.
I had no idea there was news. I was half asleep. I was going to bed. My TP was 1 to 3. I would have lost all my funded accounts.
That gives me a lot of
You
anxiety.
saved me a lot of money. Yeah.
Oh, thank goodness. Oh,
Yeah.
good.
It's hectic, eh? The only time that I've ever seen Forex Factory miss a big news event, and it does
Mhm.
that.
Uh-huh.
That's nuts, eh? That's nuts. So yeah, FX Street is the fucking spot to check your news.
Anything other than Forex Factory can suck its mum. I'm not even
Yeah,
using that shit
yeah.
anymore.
Investing.com is really good as well. Cool. Sweet. Next day, we've got a break to the upside, 15-minute break during Asia. So we've broken low into a mitigation of a point that has taken liquidity, which is also a supply to demand area. So really, really good point. Medium inducement into mitigation. You can view this as a medium inducement, just given the fact that it is a 15-minute leg. But either way, whether you view it that way or not, you've got a really good inducement, you've got a really good mitigation. From there, obviously, straight range, we know it shouldn't hold. Obviously, this point versus this point as well, you would expect this point to get pushed through.
I will add something quickly before you continue. With Asia lowers the inducement. Obviously, we hate it. We all hate it. It's the last thing we want to do. If you're concerned about that, and this is a great example, Don't trade a smart money confirmation off of this. Trade a break structure cycle entry off of this. So wait for another layer of inducing in between your range. So obviously on the 1 minute, it'll show that, but wait for liquidity in between the inducement itself and a new range. So if you don't want to get trapped in liquidity, don't trade directly off the Asia low, trade off of the Asia low, break of structure, new inducement, then go again, which is what happens here. Okay?
I can
Because
see
we
the
don't want
cogs turning in its brain.
because you don't want to get caught. And what I mean by that is we've got inducement. We don't want to trade off Asia low. We fucking hate it. So in order to trade off of that, we can have break of structure, gives us an inducement, and push. We now have a layering of inducement in between this shit Asia low inducement. Whereas if this wasn't here, we didn't have this break, and we were just trading off of the smart money confirmation, there's still liquidity sitting at the low, which is the Asia low goobers that trade off the sweeper Asia low. Does that make sense? So you want to create a new
Yeah, that makes
range
sense. Like wait
from
for like a
that.
new range to form. Yeah.
Yes, which is
Yeah.
why this example is so good to use because there is a new range.
Yeah.
Because we
Induce
have,
liquidity within that new range and then
yeah,
wait for the entry.
yes, which is why, for example, if we were to take the Asia low and then get two breaks of structure with an internal inducement, I now am happy to use the Asia low as a medium inducement because there's a separate range. Because we don't
Makes
want to,
sense.
like, we all hate it. We all fucking hate the Asia low inducement. We're all scarred from
Yeah, I just have like red
trade.
flags going off. Like,
Yes, because
yeah,
we've all been scammed from it, so we want to avoid it. So this is a good way where you get a sub-layering of liquidity.
yeah, cool.
Just thought I'd add that in there because we all get confused with it.
Yeah, it's a fucking nightmare. Sweet. Yeah, so obviously you've got your break and retest, as Brad was obviously explaining there. Got our smart money point. A few different ways that we can see this as having trapped sellers in. Two breaks there. You view it as a two leg, but then you're also inducing that invalid demand. So we've got good inducement here, good inducement here, really good inducement here, given that we've got that inside of our range. You then have going more internal again. And again, this is one of those ones where there was a couple of different ways to go about it. But the prime entry is you've got your smart money point here off the back of that inducement, got the mitigation of that point, two leg, having it set off the break of the two legs. So you've got your inducement here. Get another inducement there. Cool. Sweet. So really you've got four inducements inside it. Yes, we induced one of the points of inducing, but adding strength to what that's brought into the market. Going break even really either after you break this point or breaking that point there. This point being a demand to supply area, utilizing that as your target as that's starting to equal out the liquidity that we've taken across here now. So waiting till we induce that point before going break even. And yeah, the obviously second way you can get into it is going off of the break of that point, a bit more of like a 1 minute break, which is where Brad had his entry. But the prime entry is off of the two leg. Wicked, obviously at that point you break even, just targeting the high to 1 to 4, just to that high there. You could stretch it and push it to that high, but you'd at least be wanting to partial out at that point there, which it smokes.
I got a break even on this, by the way, just so you all feel my pain.
So your
Just
entry was
I managed it like a
here,
fucking retard.
Where did you go
and
break even?
So my entry, actually, I entered a bit higher. So obviously, up
oh,
to
you
this
up
point,
there,
I
eh?
had a loss, a break even, held through the news, nearly lost all my accounts. So it was cooked in the head. I entered off of this internal break here because I was a bit uncertain given my mental at the time. So that was my entry
Yeah,
here.
makes
And then I
sense.
targeted that high where this counted as a medium inducement because you've got inducement, inducement, 15-minute break. So that
Yeah,
was the divergence on GU, which medium induced at the same time.
Criminal, eh?
Yeah, go me. Good shit. Yeah. 1 to 2.97. Giddy up.
Oh, stings.
Yeah, yeah. So I feel your pain
Torture.
on that trade from before because I did it all week.
Yeah.
Absolute torture. Sweet. And then all that stuff, just garbage. Just don't even touch that. Not even worth looking into. This is just going to jump all of a sudden, isn't it? Yep. Yep. Fucking knew it. Cool. And then this loss was not a fun one to take. We sat in this for fucking years. So the issue with this trade is just the demand obviously wasn't looking like it was holding, right? We were just getting a very, very slow reaction out of it. It's a good demand, but wasn't getting the best follow through. Clearly, momentum was far too strong to the downside. But in terms of the confirmations for it, taking 15-minute low of that leg, it's the low outside of Asia. It's a supply to demand, and we had more or less equal low build-ups in there. So very, 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 very valid low to take. Got massive amount of trend line built up. So, nothing invalid about it. But yeah, just the demand area that we were still reacting out of just wasn't the best. So that's the only thing I can really pick on with it. We've then got a smart money point, straight range, and then obviously getting a bit of a slow reaction to the downside. So simply just forming that two leg, if we can get the break of that two leg, even though we built up a million equal highs, we're good to go. So at that point, you're in, and I'm going to skip through this because, yeah, that was torture.
I will say, like, this is still definitely valid, guys. This is a valid trade. There's just a lot of iffy things about it. In terms of you've got, yes, this is a point, but there's equal lows, which does hurt it, and this is a wick. So there, and like Dylan said,
Yeah,
this demand wasn't holding. But you've got medium inducement outside of Asia session, trendline targets, daily cycle, higher time frame, momentum, smart money point. Like, we literally got beaten by 1 minute smart money point. So fair enough.
yeah. The fact that we didn't at least take some of that trend line and take that point is just fucking insane. GU
Yeah.
obviously swept heaps of
I
the
took the same one. Yeah, I took the same one, but just on GU, not on EU, but in the same
Yeah, yeah,
respective area. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, it was very bizarre that it didn't give a bit of follow through. Anyway, is what it is. Obviously that's post CPI, so not doing anything with any of that. And this was really clean. So this area here for London is very much the same as this area here. Just no break-even target, which obviously I'll go into. Let me just get rid of these. Oh, I missed that. Cool. High outside of Asia. Yes, it's reacting out of this area, which is a good supply. The only reason I've got it marked as a SMT is just given that straight run back up to it. But valid supply, took liquidity, demand to supply area. 15-minute two leg as well that we've induced has that break to the downside as well. So really, really solid inducement, just far too aggressive up into it. If we look at the 5-minute, our range is huge. It's just absolutely massive. We have no stepping stone to be able to get down to it. We've got nothing internally to be able to target. So very valid area to be able to take a sell from, but just given no targets, it's not somewhere that I want to be looking to take a trade from. The post-session setup, this was really, really clean. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to be on for this one, which is frustrating as fuck. But anyway, we've got break here, we've got retest, low that sits outside of Asia, a bit against momentum, but we do have a little bit of a demand to supply sitting inside of there that we can use as an initial target. After getting that medium inducement, we've broken, retested, come back down, induced the retest, and got that break again. So a couple of ways you can look at it. There's one confirmation-based approach. You've got an internal confirmation after inducing retest inside your leg, utilizing at this high here as your break-even target. and then that area as a final target. You could stretch it to run a little bit higher, but I'm just targeting the 1 to 3 off the inducement of that. And then obviously viewing it from the uh, inducement outlook, you've got one inducement of the medium inducement, second inducement there of the retest internal break, go. You can just cover that low, but it's a really, really small stop. 3 pips isn't bad, but it's still very small. Just cover that next little internal point there. Shouldn't need to come back down beyond that point. So that does run. It's TP. But again, this is that same sort of thing out of session. What we were saying before with, if you get a good medium inducement, then, if that fits inside your rules, then take it. If it doesn't fit inside your rules, regardless of what you get, then you don't take the trade.
Is this an example of where once retest is taken, then you just look for the next confirmation, whether it's a small break or a two leg, and then off you go?
Yeah.
It's simple as that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I
Yeah,
feel
so
weird
get
just
your-
going off a single break. Like I feel like it's wrong to go off a single break, but it's a single break after all those other things that have happened. So
Yeah, exactly. It's the context of it, right? You've got medium inducement here. We've got relatively strong bullish momentum. We've clearly not a lot of selling pressure. Yes, that run down there is pretty significant, but we're stalling at this high here. We've had really good inducements over here. We've got a really good run to the upside here. We're externally bullish. We've got a lot of ticks, from a momentum perspective. And then obviously getting that, even having that set, the break and retest there isn't a bad limit at all. But just given the size of the leg, you've got room to be able to get that extra confirmation inside of it. Because even here, you've still got inducement, and then you've got one confirmation, two confirmations of the retest. Having that set is valid in itself. But that extra layer
Yeah.
of conviction is just getting that internal break, but covering the low in case it does want to come down and feel a little bit more of that 1 minute imbalance and a bit more of that demand area. So
I do like that instead of just the straight break and retest limit.
Yeah.
After it goes up into no man's land, I go, what's
Yes,
going to happen?
I
Yeah.
personally won't. So I don't use, you guys are probably noticed, I don't use the word retest a lot anymore because I won't set it off the retest.
Yeah, I noticed that recently. That's why
I don't feel comfortable
asked.
doing it. I just don't.
Mm.
And that's a lot of because there's a lot of subjective behavior of has it run too far? That
Yes,
question in my
100%.
head literally drives me insane.
Yeah, totally.
And then I wouldn't set it, and then it would run, and then I would set it, and I'd get fucked. And I'm like, yeah, cool, this is awesome. So in order to stop that, so for example, how I would personally read this is I actually have this as a second inducement, simply because of the break high, break low. So I actually have this as inducement, mitigation of smart money point, pull down, next lot of liquidity taken, trend line build up. So I've now ticked inducement 1, inducement 2, take off inducement 2, new inducement. This is a 2-leg to the downside, which gives me my internal inducement theory entry model, which you guys know that I like to take. So I read that as that way. So if I can have the 2 confirmation approach, which still froths over, I've then got 2 inducement entry confirmation, and I've got a smart money point with the medium inducement. There's multiple reasons to take this. And you guys are noticing this, especially in this session that we'll go through today. Every time there's a medium inducement, find a way the fuck in. If you can tick things after a medium inducement, there is a move.
Mm.
I think this week, every time there was a medium inducement, there was an entry.
Yeah.
Every single time.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I
close
love that
to-
approach because a few months ago that would be a invalidated
Yes,
trade
because
it hits
it's coming
supply and you don't
supply.
know and
Yes, exactly right. So this you've got, if you just think of, and obviously I see this in my head. So Dill draws his trend line out. I don't anymore because it kind of puts me off. But every time you get one of these entries that we both take, you get trend line.
Mm.
So if it's a smart money point, there will be trend line. So if I can get inducement, take of second inducement, or break, retest 2 confirmation, smart money trap confirmed with this inducement and trend line. So you've got medium inducement, you've got two confirmations, you've got your two inducements, you've then got build up, break even. We know we can go break even. It is now worth the risk, given the medium inducement. Okay.
Very
Wicked.
cool.
Wicked. Fuck, did that just go? Sweet, yeah. So that was really, really clean. And then for New York on that day, we're just in the middle of nowhere. There's just nothing here. That low's not significant enough to use as a medium inducement, so we haven't really taken anything that warrants us to do anything with any of that. So
Could you jump back in here for me, Dill? Just because I know Callum will watch this after. So Callum took this. So obviously, Dill said we haven't got initial targets, so you haven't got a break-even protocol at all here. So you've literally just got to go break-even in the next point of structure, which I'm okay doing. The reason I didn't take this is because this inducement didn't come within our range. So what this is doing is building an inducement in the middle of an area. It's not actually in line with structure. So it's not building a structure cycle, which means the high probability that this will be induced as price comes down and pushes up, it increases your level of break evens.
yeah, you'd
Does that
rather
make sense? So the reason I don't like taking this is because the inducement itself hasn't happened within my current range. It's like an extended two leg that doesn't fill imbalances. You need it like that. Yeah, exactly right. Which we know, which is the same as you guys will see the GU that you took Monday, Matt. Same type of scenario. Okay, so it's something to take note here because I know Cal will watch this and I know he took this, which is fine. But because of that, that's why I didn't take it. Not to say that it's wrong, but the chance of a break even becomes higher.
Mm,
Just something to think about. But once again, medium inducement, some type of entry.
wicked. Cool. The tidy week on EU could have ran that 1-3. Even if you didn't go out of session setups, you've got 1-4 potential. Fuck is that one? Oh, that was your entry. Yeah,
Fucking
I
stupid confused.
fucking was like, where did that come from? So I don't recognize that. Yeah, 1-4 potential or -1, so you're up 3 out of timing. So even on EU, you can be up 3 after the week. Or if you take them out of session, you're fucking up 10, 7, 10. So very, very tidy. Gee.
Yeah, this is gonna hurt.
All right, sweet. Coming into the week, induced this point here, obviously a major inducement, really, really nice. Lots of water flow on the way up, heaps and heaps of liquidity underneath. Off the back of that major inducement, we've got a couple of 5-minute breaks with a little bit of retest here. This point is medium inducement, obviously first high outside of Asia. It is retest of that 5-minute break there as well. Got liquidity targets obviously underneath this here, starting to build them up along there as well. So looking good in that respect. We did also push up and take this point here, a little bit of like a 2-leg there, not too much. I personally don't consider it too much of an inducement, but you can view that as an additional inducement on top of that medium inducement. Or the other way to look at this is medium inducement, break, minor inducement. So you've got medium and minor. Whether you consider that, that's always going to be a minor, but whether you consider that extra point as your additional inducement, either way, you've got a few different inducements there to be able to validate a sell. We've now obviously pushed up, taken at that point there. So you've got one inducement, which is the inducements of all those points there. You've then got a 2-leg. So you have your second inducement going off the break. You got 1, 2, go, break even as we push through the low, targeting the inducement of that supply to demand area. You can hold this for longer as well. Like you could stretch it, go partials there and target Asia low. Like it is valid to do that, but just understanding that we haven't had the best inducements here and this structure itself, it's not the best. Like we don't have a whole lot in the way of like inducements to the upside, downside on a higher time frame. We're just literally like smart money stepping our way down. Good inducement here, like, but the rest of the structure itself isn't overly convincing of sellers being in control from this point. So just targeting 1 to 3 at the inducement of your next significant area that more or less matches what we've taken here. But that one was yeah, very, very tidy. Anything you want to add to that one, Brad?
No, it's clean as fuck.
But yeah, very tidy, eh? Very, very tidy. Cool. All right. Fucking stop. Jesus. Hate when it does that, eh?
Shredding
Boils
these
my blood. Wicked, New York, we've got targets, we've got Asia low, we've got London low, we've taken like a 15-minute two leg. So we've got major inducement, minor inducement, targets, daily cycle, structure cycle, obviously making a new high. The confirmation list for this is incredibly long. And if you did take this sell, you may be more inclined to take this sell up here. It just sits at a little bit more of like gray area, obviously, as I've got written inside of there. So, of course, you've got one inducement here of that point there. You then can consider this as your second inducement with that little break to the upside there. But it's such a small, such a minor break that's where it can sit very gray area type of trade. If you're at the end of the week and you're up and you've got room to play with, half risking this or even half risking it if you've taken this is fair. But it definitely sits a little bit on the iffy side. It's one where if you were to take a loss on that, you'd straight away go, yeah, it just wasn't a good enough inducement. Like it's a really easy one to see where it came from. But given that it's like sitting in the middle, it's one that's worth half risking if you've got profit to half risk with. So if you were to take that, of course, you're going to go one inducement, two inducement, setting it off your second inducement, you break even as you've pushed through that low, and you end up copping the break even anyway. Only runs 1 to 2 on a bit. You'd be really targeting that area there, or even just a flat 1 to 3. But either way, you only get 1 to 2. And a little bit, which is interesting, and this is something that Brad and I were speaking of, is when you're not getting a good, a good setup and you're kind of stretching your setup, they always end up being a loss or a break even 9 times out of 10. So patiently waiting for the right setup generally always gives you the outcome that you're looking for. And anytime you stretch it, it's always ends either frustratingly or at a break even. Sweet. All right. Again, really good inducement. We've got lots of targets. Yes, we are very against momentum, which doesn't obviously help with this setup at all. But you've got a good inducement here, which is a supply to demand area. It's also the low at 50% of Asia. We've brought in Asia high sellers here, but we did actually take them out. So you've got Asia's high sellers brought in with that break. We've taken them out. So this is technically a medium inducement. But then we've also come down and taken this medium inducement, which follows with momentum. We've got a straight range here, straight range formed here. So given the reaction that we got off this point here, which is really our 15-minute break, we can see that this range here is likely not to hold as we've got no retest formed at the break. We've got no liquidity generated on that pullback there. We've just literally come straight back up. So we know this area shouldn't hold. So following off the back of that, you've got your first inducement. You've then got price stepping its way down. Get your second inducement there. And then you've got your smart money point inside of here. Again, failing to break the low. So you've got smart money point here, smart money point here, smart money point here. getting your additional inducement out of that smart money point with your two leg, having it set off your break, getting tagged in, your break even at the take of this high, just understanding that this high here, that whole smart money area has failed to break the low. So we can induce this, but really that's our next target. That's our next inducement point that we know could have enough strength to be able to push us back down. Understand that we can get this sort of reaction out of that area, but we've already confirmed that whole area as a smart money trap based on what it's done here and the fact that it's failed to break that low. So holding through till we take that point. Is this one you caught, Brad, or you had your
I got done on break even.
done break even? Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I was retarded and went break even at the take of that. So I was in here.
Wicked. But yeah,
Dumbass.
that obviously. And that running 1 to 3.9. Wicked. All right. And then coming in, so this is where I was saying EU at the time was in a really good area. So EU was mitigating that supply to demand, taking liquidity. Obviously, we've already been through that. GU was mitigating a spot that should not have held. So I was actually looking for sells. So yes, we've got a good medium inducement here, but understanding where we're coming from at a higher time frame, we are due for a bit of a sell-off. And we're mitigating a point that has a build-up of equal lows. This area here has taken no liquidity. So although we've got a medium inducement here, this area shouldn't hold. So if I can get an inducement to the upside, yeah, going to start validating for sells. Something that I've been playing around with as well is using EG to be able to understand the strength of divergence between the two. So obviously EG is obviously euro and the pound going against each other. So if we know that, for example, the pound is stronger than the euro, so if we've got EG dropping, we know the pound's a bit stronger than the euro at the time. So if we're getting for example, GU making sense more to sell rather than EU. If GU is stronger, it'll outweigh what EU is doing, and obviously vice versa. So it's something that you can use to better just know the strength of divergence between the two pairs. So that's something that I was looking at for this pair. So at the time for this setup, the EG was falling. So I was understanding, all right, cool, G is a little bit stronger. So even though EU is in a really, really good spot, G is in a spot that shouldn't hold. So looking for that continuation of following with the momentum that we've got, getting the inducement of the retest of that 15-minute break off the back of obviously everything else that we've got, plus that added divergence confirmation, looking for sells out of here. Not to say that it's not valid to look, because it's definitely valid to look for buyers, but this is one of those situations that we don't get very often, but where it's valid to look for sells or buyers. Like if you're looking for buyers, for example, through that smart money point, exactly like EU had and gave it set up on, very, very clean and very, very valid in itself. But when you do get that inducement of that retest, you're now valid to start looking for sells. So that's what I was looking for. We started looking like we were going to get this set up, but we just never got that second confirmation, which is great because it saved me getting fucking smoked from news. But yeah. So really, really valid area from both respects, but yeah, no entry. Sweet. No one had a question then, eh? No, sweet. AirPods are playing up on me. That's mad. Cool. All right. Where we on? Wednesday. Sweet. So obviously got that sell-off. Same sort of thing as EU. We've got that 15-minute break to the upside, inducement into a mitigation of a point that's taken liquidity, which is also a bigger supply to demand area. Wicked. Obviously, then from there, we've got that straight leg. Again, no liquidity generated, so we know that we shouldn't be holding and we can at least come to target this high here. Mitigating that shitty little smart money point, but this is the difference between EU, well, the difference between EU and GU with this is just EU was so much cleaner, which is why Brad obviously took this trade, was more inclined for EU rather than GU. EU's actually got its break here. So everything that's forming inside of here is legitimate 1 minute structure, whereas GU has no break. So everything inside of here is just kind of garbage little two-leg stuff. So this as an inducement is pretty average. We've also just been dribbling our way down, whereas EU we get good, clear two legs. Like it's a good solid two leg. It's not just dribbling price actions. So EU is way, way cleaner. So GU, I do have it as a valid area, very, very valid area to look. But given the price action, there's just nothing valid there to take. Like, yes, you do have a little break here off the back of that. So you could say one, two, but given everything that's happened here with this sort of price action and this not really meaning anything in price, you're far better off looking at EU rather than GU. Come on.
It's fucking program, man.
Oh, bro. I swear they've just tried to make it too fancy, so now it just runs really slow.
All the time. It's shit.
Oh, it's because it's on the 1 minute. Why do they do that again? Josh, you're the tech wizard here. If you know how to change that and fix that, I am all ears.
What it jumps time frames?
Nah, it
What does it
bloody
do?
it goes to the 1 minute when you try and replay it, even if you're on the 15th, but you can't change it out of it.
Oh,
If you find a hack for that,
I'll let you know.
let me know. Sick. All right. Yeah, New York that day, obviously garbage. Just full of news and just wicks and crap everywhere. Just yeah, nothing. Sweet. I'll go back a little bit for London. Cool. So London session, similar to EU, getting the mitigation of that area. Really, really good medium inducement. You've got a couple of medium inducements here, obviously. Low outside of Asia here, bit of a two leg. You've got that point there, you've got that point there. So we're getting a couple of medium inducements, which is really nice. Looking good for buyers, getting good mitigation. We've got just an enormous amount of liquidity here. This will be where you took your buy, hey Matt.
Yep. Yep. Yeah.
Sweet.
So it's probably where you guys took that slow EU by hey.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. So if we look at this, we've got one inducement. Where were you in?
Uh, After it induces that low, pretty sure. And then
Or is this a different day?
this might be a different day.
Might be a different day, eh?
It looks similar.
Uh,
It looks
It
similar,
just
but
happens now.
Yeah, you've got post.
I reckon, Matt. No, I know where it is. So I think, because me and Dylan talked through this, I think you jumped the gun. So you've got a really, really good point here. You've obviously got low outside of Asia,
oh yeah,
so clean.
Oh yeah, up in there. That's where we got an EU.
yeah.
That's
That's
Yeah,
where
that's
where
you
I'm.
right.
jumped.
Yeah,
It was
that's
very,
where
very
that's where I
start of the
was.
session.
Yeah, a bit further on, a bit early. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
So this is a
yeah.
really clean inducement. Don't get me wrong. Like that's nice. Very, very nice. Yeah, I would just say they're too close to equal. It's kind of the
Okay.
only. You
Yeah.
just like that's all I can really say at it. Um, yeah, just way too close.
It's
Like
right on,
oh,
right
hindsight's a
on
bitch.
timing too.
Yeah, like
That's
hindsight's a bitch. Like you can objectively like I feel like there's a reason you could say you lost this. And that would just be that they're too close to equal.
yeah,
Not to say that it's not valid because the area and what EU is doing. Um, but if you were entering on GU alone in your back testing and you did that and entered, you would basically say, like, that's why. Like, you've got a
yeah.
definite answer. Um, That's kind of what
because didn't we find out? Yeah, because we found out afterwards that FXCM took that high, so that induced.
yes. If FXCM, like if that had broken and you had taken it, then it's just valid loss, call whatever.
Yeah,
I guess what you can try and do is just try your hardest not to compare brokers. I know I do it a fair bit.
yeah, yeah.
I
hardly
don't
ever
look.
at
I
it.
never look.
Yeah,
It's such a hindsight thing.
yeah. It's a
Um,
form of self-torture.
yeah,
Yeah,
basically.
Yeah,
yeah.
'cause you can't do
Doesn't do
anything
anything
about
for
it.
you.
So
No,
No,
exactly right. Like that's one of the things we all need to stop doing, me included.
it's hard
Because
not
yeah, I
to
would just
do.
say these equals highs. Um, all I would ask is why did you take this instead of EU?
um,
That's all I'll ask. If you can give me an answer, I'll
yeah,
shut
I don't really have a straight answer for that.
up. I would say
Yeah, I
EU
probably
gave
had
the
some sort of
confirmation,
reasoning behind it.
GU didn't.
Yeah,
That's kind of
Maybe the
yeah,
equal highs were putting you off EU.
yeah, something like that, or
yeah, possibly.
targets or something. Maybe I had something to do with targets, maybe like
I guess
more
that's because
15-minute
I
targets or
can say
something.
the
Yeah,
reason EU didn't play out is because GU didn't play out. Because EU is valid
yeah,
so
yeah,
I would just say objectively, you took the worst pair.
yeah. Fair.
Um, if you're going to take a trade on a pair, I know this is where it's difficult to use both pairs, and my hindsight's a bitch, so I get to give you shit because it lost. Um,
Yeah,
focus on the pair you trade on.
yeah,
Like I said, like it lost, so I can give you shit. Mine lost
yeah,
anyway,
yeah,
but I can say mine lost because yours lost. Mine didn't lose because
yeah,
mine lost. Mine lost because GU didn't hold.
yeah. That makes
Um,
sense.
yeah, just be a little bit more patient. Like there's plenty of trades to go around. Um,
Yeah,
because GU just
yeah,
disrespects the whole entire area.
yeah. I've definitely
Mm.
forced myself into that one. I'd
So
say.
because what I can kind of say is like EU dicked around for 2 hours. So I can kind of be like, it's a point of indecision. Like at least
Yeah,
I was 50-50. Whereas your entry just got absolutely just like
got
sexually assaulted.
yeah,
So you were just wrong.
yeah, yeah. I was just wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I guess that
yeah,
what I would just journal is like patience with um waiting for that inducement. And I guess we've
yeah.
just got to
All
stop
right.
looking at other brokers. Okay, that's
Yeah,
all we
no,
can
cool.
really do. Not
That's
to say
fair.
it's a bad entry because, like, realistically, if I was to be like, what's going to hold in this, I would honestly put my money that it's going to push through. Like I said, this is a 1 minute point. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, like it did
Um,
fuck all. Like I would have expected it to have taken that one
yes,
minute
and I
You'd
high, but
think
think
it'd at
that's
least get that high,
yes, and I think that's where most of your
especially.
conviction came from on GU is like, there's no way to
yes,
hold. Like, that's kind of
yeah.
um,
There's no way to hold. Look at all that, like perfect
That
trend
was
line that Dylan
insane.
just drew out. Yeah,
yes,
like it's getting smoked. But
yes,
so I
yes,
was sort of just pushing myself into the trade rather than having it be clean entry.
yes, and
No,
I
that's
think
fair.
I think you were with me this week. A lot of that probably came from how dumb the week was.
Yeah,
So you had that trade at the start of the week, which you took 1 to 2 partials, which ran 1 to 3. So that would piss me off
yeah,
already. You then had
yeah,
the EU that you caught a loss on, which ended up running like 1 to 9. So I'd want to stab someone. And then you've
yeah,
taken this one where EU was the entry and you took GU. So then you're like,
yeah,
why the fuck wouldn't GU go? EU was valid. So I think it's
yeah,
just like the combination of those things, like every day being able to reset that. And a lot of that comes with, and like I've been on myself and Dylan about it, is marking out the inducements. Like if you're going to trade the inducement way, you have to mark them out.
yeah,
And if you force yourself to do that, you won't be able to read it wrong because it's written on your chart.
yeah.
And
Makes
I do it a
sense.
lot. It's a lot easier. Like you've got your phone out, you're on MetaTrader, you don't mark out the break of structure because you're too busy taking it. Mark out the
Yeah,
break of structure, then set it.
Mm.
yeah, fair. Yeah, mark it out first, then set it. Yeah, I
Yes.
like it. Yeah,
Like I said,
just
hindsight's
interrupts that pattern a little bit. But yeah, no, that's
yes.
good.
Like, statistically, that
Gets
would
you
probably go,
thinking.
but I can get, like I said, I can give you shit because I lost. So
Yeah, that's good.
Wicked. Yeah, and obviously this is a pro session one as well, but really, really clean. Hate to rub it in, Brad, but it's yeah, really clean. Obviously, we've got massive amounts of medium inducements, obviously into the mitigation at this point. Another good, really good inducement there, out of timing, but just a world of liquidity to be able to target. So your first inducement, mitigation of that, a shitty little point, second inducement to the downside, break and go. Break even, obviously there, the take of the smart money point. Obviously threw it too much. You were targeting up here or something like that, eh?
I targeted Asian highs. I didn't expect this to
Asian
come
highs.
back down.
That's right. Yeah. 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 Ends up wicking back down. But clean entry nonetheless. Fucking really clean entry. Such a simple entry, that one, eh?
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward.
Oh, it's doing to get on the 1 minute. I hate you, TradingView. Cool. Post CPI. Nothing inside of there. It is really weird that it does that, eh? It's doing it again. It's just
Stupid.
rocket shit. Cool. All right. Friday. Mitigation of this area here. Now, this again is somewhere where Brad took a break even. But I don't have this as a valid area just because even though it is like a bit of a supply to demand area, it didn't take any liquidity. So if a demand or supply has taken liquidity, I won't view it as valid. Um, but you've got obviously inducement of this point here, bit of a two-leg retest of that breaks. You can view it as a medium inducement. So we've had that medium inducement into the mitigation of this area. I was wanting to sell through here, but it was just a bit iffy with this. So for me, it became a bit 50-50, whereas this area was much, much nicer. But Brad's entry, I'll let you walk
Aggressive.
through it, bro.
Um, aggressive entry, inducement, break, take of liquidity, break. This entire point now is a smart money trap. Push up, retest, push, set off the retest, covering the point. That's literally all it was.
Wicked. And then obviously the mitigation of this area. So I've got it as a valid area, but iffy and just kind of not invalid, but invalid for me to take a trade from because I've got no break-even target. Like I've got absolutely nothing there. Again, another straight range. But did get the mitigation of this whole area here. FXCM, which obviously we're just speaking about, don't compare brokers, but FXCM did have a really, really clean entry inside of there, but EU made equal highs. So, sorry, ONA made equal highs. So it's, yeah, a no-go, but ended up getting good follow through. Oh, bras. Testing my patience, eh? Cool. And then this was really clean post session again, really late New York. Well, not too late, half an hour after session, but Friday night. Obviously, starting to work our way down, getting 15-minute breaks. We've got a medium inducement here into mitigation of a demand to supply area that has taken liquidity. Got an initial target here, obviously, where that little inducement is, final target for the low just there. Ends up being a break even, but the entry itself is a really, really tidy. You could even utilize that area there, being the supply to demand as your break even point, which really is where you want to be going break even, but you've just got those initial or next targets, I should say. Got your two-leg internal inducement entering off the take of that, sorry, break off that second leg just there. So really, really clean, but obviously ends up being a break even. Sweet. So in terms of a GU, you've got potential break even post session break even as well. 1-4 break even. and then a 1 to 3. So really, really clean. There's 7R there and whatever you had as well, 3R on top. So 10R week potential between the two. So very, very tidy. Anything to add or anything anyone wanted to go through on any of that?
I will actually add. So a lot of you guys know that a lot of this inducement theory is based off of just watching people like Alex trade. They don't teach it, but it's how he trades. Okay. He took a buy 1 to 3, a sell 1 to 3, and a buy 1 to 4 all in one session for New York on Friday. He doesn't teach it. They teach breaks of structure because they want people's money, but he trades inducements. So just to let you know, when you get medium inducements, you can trade. It's as simple as that. Like I said, he took that, which he used that as a medium inducement, that with timing towards this. He then used that as a medium inducement, which he took that, and he took this as a continuation with momentum that way. 1 to 3, 1 to 3, 1 to 4. So if you've got medium inducements, you've got confirmations, you don't just have to trade timing. Trade the market. Trade inducements. A lot of the teachings we're teaching you guys is inducements because it is literally how you trade. It doesn't go away. So
Oh,
keep
we've
focusing.
always traded 15-minute takes.
So keep focusing on that.
Wicked. Wicked.
I can't see any entries there unless he's just doing single breaks
I
and
can walk through them if you want. Like I said, he doesn't teach it. I'm just going off of screenshots and then walking through.
yeah, no, I like that. I like we're trying to figure that out.
So he's
It
got
just
break, retest, which takes an inducement here. So he entered on that break there, treating that entire leg as a smart money trap. That's his break even at the take of that, 1 to 3. He then would have
Yeah, I
taken
think
that break
that's
even, but he doesn't share his break evens, and he took this entry targeting to that inducement. Sorry about drawings fucking everywhere. So that one, this one, he would have taken a break even on. I reckon so the second entry was that, which is the same entry as this one. It's the exact same. So you've got
Which is like 1 to 3,
mitigation
like
of
fucking
points,
perfectly.
inducement here, 1 to 3. And then this is solely just off of taking this inducement into the previous inducement, going with momentum, internal break of structure, wonderful. Like they're very, very simple. That's his entries.
Do you just
that
follow him on
last one's just
Instagram or like to get
This
to
is,
get?
yeah, he just shares his screenshots on Instagram.
Okay, righto.
He doesn't teach this in his group. He doesn't teach inducements.
Yeah.
They teach confirmation stuff.
Yeah.
But this is the excessive read of what you can get to.
Who is this guy?
What's that?
Who is him? Who is he? Sorry, stuff.
Alex
That Spanish,
Garcia.
that Spanish dude
Okay.
that trades with Ricard. They trade the same type of entries. Well, he trades this way. So medium inducements, he trades from medium inducements, which is the whole basis of how we trade. And that's basically what he does. That's his entries.
Yeah, sweet.
very interesting.
Nutcase.
It's impressive as fuck.
No. Yeah,
It's the
Balls of
shit that
steel.
people
real
don't teach
read.
you. Yes. It's the shit people don't teach you.
Yeah, he does a bit of trading out of session. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
You
so you
just
just
get
trade
that.
what he
See,
sees.
You just get that good. Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
That information to me helps me. So a lot of the back testing and a lot of the data I've collected of just seeing this guy do well, trading the style that we trade, him not teaching shit and then just going and back testing his entries. And it's all
Yeah.
the same shit. It's all the same shit we teach.
Sweet.
So you can feel free to go back and look at those. I just feel like it's good information to know basically how far you can take
That's
this.
possible.
Yes.
Yeah, that's why it's good looking at you guys because then we know that it's actually possible. It's like, oh yeah, sweet. Like, I'll just keep going.
Yes.
The dude's been trading for so long.
Yes.
Like,
Has he? Yeah.
he's over a decade. Like he's fucking been
Yeah,
doing it a
right.
long, long time. And he comes from a swing trading background. So like his understanding of like points that are going to move the market is just
Very, very impressive.
ridiculous. It's stupid. Like it's stupid.
Yeah, sick. Yeah.
Wicked. Fucking solid week, yeah. Good management, eh?
It's
That's
impressive.
frustrating, but good management nonetheless. Finishing 0.5 up. Bit of overtrading this week. Not something I'm ashamed of. I just need to refine. Wicked, wicked, wicked. Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. We obviously went over that in there. Clean. That's hard, eh? Like I was just thinking about the 2R, 2.5, 1.8. Like it's hard to have weeks like that and not go and change shit. Because like it is just the reality of it sometimes to have those weeks where it's just fucking break even, break even, break even, break even, break even. But that's where that long term. Don't let, bro, a week is a grain of sand on the beach, and then when you think of like a year or 2 years. Like it's such a small amount of time. So, if it was like that over a period of a quarter, different story. But like, don't let a week change your whole fucking process around something. Like,
Just
monitor it. And if
focus
it's something
on
that
with
continues
those
happening,
entries,
check it.
focus on, are you trading from medium inducements? What is the, like, are you in impulse or you're in the complex pullback of the
Yeah.
market? And what liquidity are you taking when it reverses?
Mm.
That's key. So I mentioned Alex that he took 3 trades in a New York session, and he took 4 trades for the whole week. He took 3 in 1 session. His take profits are very, very clear.
Mm.
It's a skill in itself. It's not the only way you get there is experience. So focus on, because the trades you took are good trades, focus on where they're reversing and use that data. Because you're catching trades, you've just now got to
Yeah.
work out how to maximize profits on trades, which is hard to do because there's a lot of hindsight in it.
Mm. The 1 minute rates are clean. It's just obviously, yeah, those areas. And I bet you there would be a big difference between like the 1.5R break even and like the 2.6, like the area that you've traded from. There'd be a big difference between the confirmations that led to that setup.
Yep. I will
Wicked.
say though, 9 trades is too much, and that's coming from me who trades too much.
So there's a lot of people saying that.
Yes.
Wicked. Josh trades one. Nice. That's nice. For you. Yep. 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 Much cleaner. Ah, fuck yeah. Just in front of my feelings, not rushing in mid-session. Wicked. Fucking nice. Fucking nice. Party, yeah, obviously we've gone over that. It was really clean. That's good, bro. That's good. That's like that will do you a world of good. Double down on that. Lucas 4 trades, 2 loss, 2 PE, G sold, in a piss poor 3 leg. At least you're aware of it. Should have looked. Oh yeah, that's when we were on live for, I think.
hmm
Should look the other ways or selling so aggressive, catch and move entry, misread. At least you're aware of it. That's the main thing. Post this trade. Yeah. Uh, GSL, same theory as trade one. This time much better and clean setup into the half risk. Stop loss and big shows what I wanted to have, but as I'm real time cover the higher break even.
Yeah, I did the same thing.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it should have been. Matt, that's the same as Matt's entry.
Yeah. Wicked. You buy mentally as felt smooth on trade for me reviewing speed, compared to you, had the SMT, good inducement, it's on a break. So got large. I'm covering the inducement I 1 3 after this trade. So I'm back to the end. I'm trying to have 5 to 6 pips. I'm looking at different RR targets for higher pip ourselves. Sweet. I find trying to have like too much of a limit on like where your stop loss size is, yeah, is a tricky one to work with stop loss. Yeah. Yeah. Good break even area. Wait, that's something we went over, right? Yeah, just keep playing around with your stop loss placement. Really just want to make sure you're covered by the inducement. Try not to think too much about the pips themselves. I had areas of some T. It's a half risk, trailing stop loss. Due to aggressiveness to these. These have come up in a weird way, I think. Due to aggressiveness, 0.2 hour loss, too high in the range. Oh, that's right. That's the one we were live for. Yeah. Yeah, that one's super high up in the leg A, and the inducement to the downside's not the best. Just wait for good solid areas and good solid convincing price action. Save most of your issues of Thursday and then trade live Thursday. Spend a lot of time backtesting stuff. Sweet. Perfect. 2 trades and win. Off offense 2. Trade 1. Sweet. Medium inducement and yeah. Wicked.
Something I will
Wicked.
add as well, Matt. If you're going to take a counter trend trade, and I understand the partialing idea, if you medium induce, if it can't go 1 to 3, it's not worth taking.
Mm.
So a medium inducement, my rule is that if I don't secure at least 3%, it's not worth taking off a medium inducement.
Mm.
Because a medium inducement for us should at least move 3 times our risk, at least. So if you're going to take a medium inducement, you can't get 3R out of it. Is it a medium inducement? And is it worth it?
Yeah. Okay.
Make sure off the medium inducement,
And
you
that's
are
what,
securing as a data aspect of the trade 3R.
Yeah. Should
Yeah.
always better get 3R off a medium inducement. Always.
Yeah.
Always. And if you can't,
Yeah,
then you're
rather
probably
than
close to an area where you should be looking to catch that reversal. More than likely.
yeah, or I'm entering like too far in the range or something like that.
Yeah.
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 Matt, obviously we've
It's very
already been
hard to do.
over.
When you're focusing on all of the things in entering a trade, the last thing anyone thinks of is how far it can actually run.
Mm.
But it's
Yeah.
such an important
Yeah.
point because there's no point risking all of your brain power to do any of it if it can't run far.
And there's no point risking the capital
Yeah.
if you can't
It's
get your
not gonna
3R return.
Yes.
it's not gonna be a good risk. Yeah, it's not gonna be a good deal. Yeah.
Mm. Wicked. Need to focus more on, yeah, sweet. That's obviously the GU one. Wicked, not upset my week. Yep. Fucking oath. Love it. Love it.
If you're noticing the gap between winning and losing with your data, Matt, is becoming smaller and smaller. So you're moving I would
Yeah.
call you a break-even trader, which is a really,
Yeah,
really
I have
frustrating.
the
It's
same
frustrating as
conclusion.
fuck. It's so annoying.
Yeah.
But you're at a
Yeah.
refining stage, which is a great place to be at. It means you've got an edge. You just haven't
Yeah.
defined it enough. And that's all, and yours seems to be making sure you're trading in the right areas. When you do, you have really good results. So that's something you've got to double
Yeah.
down on. And the other thing is take profits.
Yeah.
They're the two things I think for you to focus on. You read inducements really, really well. You read market conditions really, really well. It is simply just refining how you make money now. That's literally what you're up to. You've got your edge.
Yeah.
It's just about
Awesome.
doubling down on that edge and really refining it to your take profits.
Yeah. No, cool. I had the same. I was just kind of scrolling back through this group data and just like kind of from the last few weeks. And yeah, I was like, oh yeah, I'm pretty well break even.
Yeah.
Like for most of it. So
Beautiful. It's an annoying stage to be in because it's like you're doing all this work to end up in the same spot.
yeah.
It's annoying as
Like, oh,
fuck.
what am I missing? And it's like,
Yes.
oh, maybe I'm not missing too much, but it's just about refining what I already have.
Yes. So for example, you
Yeah.
take 3R on that trade rather than your 50% at 1 to 2, your
Yeah.
entire week's changed.
Yeah. All of a sudden I'm up
Mm.
2% sort of thing, or
Massive.
whatever it works out to be. Yeah.
Yeah, and you've got your stop
All right.
loss
And
in
if I put my
different spot on
stop,
that one,
I use
things
my
like
stop
that.
loss in the right spot, I'm
You're
up
literally 2
7% for
changes
the
this
week.
week off of 7%.
Yeah.
So you're close. So you've got to make sure you really double down on these habits you're building because you're close.
Cool. Yeah. That's sweet.
It's good
Good
shit.
to hear.
Okay.